Good morning. Welcome to our kitchen. This is number 189, and today I'm going solo. I'm going to start out with a blueberry cake, and then I'm going to go over and make a summer squash casserole and a different take on a tuna casserole. Not tuna noodle casserole, but just tuna casserole, and you'll see what there'll be differences. So I'm going to start out with the blueberry cake because it's going to take the longest to bake. And this is blueberry picking time, both here and I was just in Maine, and they're in the throes of picking blueberries up there. And one of the tourist news said the blueberry issue. Blueberry is king in Maine, particularly wild blueberries. They are nutritious. There's a whole article in here that says they are delicious, and did you know? And I'm not going to go into did you know, but if you go online or if you already know, they got antioxidants, and they're very healthy for you. And you can do so many things with them. You can have them for breakfast, you can have them for lunch in a salad, you can make a smoothie out of them, and then of course for supper, great desserts. So let's start out with, this is from a Maine cookbook called Ada's Blueberry Cake. Whoever Ada is, I don't know. So in this bowl here, I have some margarine and butter, but first I'll add to it 1 cup of sugar, and an egg, and I'm going to cream this all together. To that I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of milk, and a teaspoon of lemon juice. I always like to use fresh lemons when I can, and which is most of the time. And just as a simple, just a teaspoon. Okay. Mix that together. The lemon should curdle a little bit. Now, in a separate bowl, I want to mix dry ingredients. I've got 2½ cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, two teaspoons of cream of tartar, as they say, the 2½ cups of flour I've already put in, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix that together. And then stir it into the liquid mixture. I had another idea for using blueberries as a kind of a dessert, which I tried last night, and I wasn't particularly, it turned out, well, it started like a smoothie, where I had some lemon lime soda, blueberries, and blended it up, and some non-fat yogurt, and then you freeze it. So what I think I'm going to do is probably unfreeze it and have it as a smoothie myself. Okay. Let's try it. Last thing we're going to do is add 2 cups of blueberries, and we're going to sprinkle them with a little flour so that they will not go to the bottom, that they will stick in with the batter. You carefully fold them in. I'm using a 8-inch square pan, which I will spray. This is pretty thick. Batter here. going in a 350 degree oven. There's plenty of blueberries in it. And then on top, sprinkle with some sugar, and it'll make kind of a crusty top. Okay. Into a 350 degree oven. Set it up for 50 to 60 minutes. About 50 minutes you can check with a toothpick to see how much it is, if it's done, and then go from there. So that finishes our dessert. I'm going to take a break and set up for the rest of my meal. Okay, back to the main meal now. Hopefully I have got everything in order on this side. In this large fry pan, I have melted 3 tablespoons of butter or margarine. And this is going to be the summer squash casserole, which is another thing when we're taping this. It's summer and the squashes are coming in. I'm going to saute in the 3 tablespoons of butter or margarine about a pound of yellow summer squash and 1 small onion chopped. This is usually how I cook my squash, zucchini, or summer, but I don't usually make it into a casserole. I just serve it from the fry pan. But let's get a little fancy today. Okay, while that is cooking, I'm going to beat together 2 eggs, with 2/3 of a cup of half and half. You're going to want to saute the squash for maybe 5 minutes or so. You don't want it all cooked soft, because you're going to put this in the oven. As this is cooking, you want to add salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to use my lemon pepper. No salt in this lemon pepper. And 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon. This is also my reduced sodium chicken bouillon. Not so easy to find. The recipe mentioned using a 9x13 baking dish, but I'm using a large round dish. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now, make sure I don't burn myself. I'm going to pour the squash into this baking dish I've sprayed with shortening. Now, here's your eggs that two eggs that we've whipped with 2/3 of a cup of half and half. Pour that over the summer squash. And then sprinkle with 2/3 of a cup of Gruyere cheese. And I think you could, I was almost going to use Swiss cheese, but I did find the Gruyere in time. And a little bit of Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan. I shredded a little bit more than 2/3. Anybody that, cheese lovers, sometimes we don't want to be too skimpy with our cheeses. And not too much. Okay, there's our squash. That's going to go into the same 350-degree oven. And bake for about 30 minutes. Okay, we'll break again while I set up for the last of the dishes. Okay, on to the third choice here of the tuna crunch casserole. Not tuna noodle, tuna crunch. I'm going to start out with my smaller fry pan here in 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine. I'm going to saute 1/4 cup of sliced or slivered almonds, a small onion chopped, and a celery rib chopped. I hope this goes over. Most people think of, they like tuna noodle casserole. I'm not sure how this one will. Okay, while that's cooking, here's some of the differences. In another bowl, I've got 2 cups of shredded cabbage or coleslaw mix, which is already shredded for you, and it has carrots in it too. Okay. 6 ounces of your favorite tuna, whatever you like. Now, this may be an old recipe because you don't get 6 ounces in a can of tuna anymore. You get 5, and if you drain it, you get 4. So I have 2 cans of the 6 ounce tuna, which I have drained and flaked. One 10 3/4 ounce can of good old cream of mushroom soup, and that's still 10 and it says, I think it says 10 and a half. So now they've taken, oh, what a world we live in. Same price, a little bit less. Covers the cost. And the fourth thing, some Chinese noodles. I'm going to add a crunch to the casserole. Now, it talked about 1/2 of a 3 ounce can. Could not find the 3 ounce can. This is 6 ounces, so we're going to use 1/2 of the 3 ounces because we'll put the rest on top. So use your judgment. These are effectively the chow mein noodles. I would add a little salt and pepper. See how our vegetables are doing here. I am using a 11 by 7 baking dish, ungreased. I'm going to add the celery, the onion, and the almonds to the tuna fish mixture. Pour it into the baking dish. And to finish it off, spread it with some more of the noodles. This also goes into a 350 degree oven and is baked uncovered for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Everything may come out about the same time. So there's our 3 selections today. Our tuna crunch casserole, our summer squash casserole, and our Ada's blueberry cake. So when we come back, I'll be at our table with the finished products. Well, welcome back to our table. This is program number 189, and I went solo on this one. So I have 3 things that I made for the meal and for dessert. It's summertime when we're taping this, so I've used, first of all, right here, summer squash casserole with your summer squash, and very easy to make. You saute the squash first with some onion, and then you season it up. In a separate bowl, you beat up a couple of eggs with half and half, pour it over the top, and then sprinkle Gruyere cheese and some Parmesan cheese over the top and bake it. And then for the main course casserole, I did a different take on tuna noodle casserole. No pasta noodles in this one, Chinese noodles. Again, something easy to make with slivered almonds and celery and onion that are sauteed first, and then shredded cabbage, and I got off easy by using coleslaw mix, the tuna fish, and cream of mushroom soup, and some chow mein noodles in that mixture. Pour it into a casserole and sprinkle the top with more Chinese noodles. And then for dessert, I have a blueberry cake, and there are plenty of blueberry cake recipes around, plenty of desserts. You can do so many things with blueberries. They're one of the most healthiest fruits you can eat, and it is picking time around here, but we must be careful if we go out and pick. Keep ourselves covered, or you might end up with a tick bite. So remember that if you're going to go picking blueberries out in the fields. So these are our my three recipes for today. If you would like any of these, you send a self-addressed stamped envelope to Dalton Community Television, 151 Park Avenue, Dalton, Mass. 01226, and it is program number 189. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.